The release of Netflix's new docuseries Aka Charlie Sheen has reignited a heated debate, not only about Charlie Sheen's troubled past, but also about the decisions made by his father, legendary actor Martin Sheen. On The View, the panelists didn't hold back while discussing the controversial moment when Martin reported his son to authorities after a 1998 drug overdose that violated Charlie's probation. The issue came to light again after Charlie's recent interview with ABC's Michael Strahan, where he admitted that his father's actions initially felt like the biggest betrayal you could possibly endure. Although Charlie later said he came to view it as an act of love, the memory remains a painful one. Whoopi Goldberg posed the question to her fellow co-hosts: was Martin Sheen's decision truly an act of betrayal, or was it an act of tough love? Joy Behar, speaking from her perspective as what she called an Italian mother, was quick to condemn Martin's choice. Behar argued that if your child is struggling with addiction or mental illness, you take them to a doctor or hospital, not the police. She was blunt in her criticism, saying, "Martin Sheen made a big mistake. Your child is suffering, they have an illness. You do not send them to police, sorry." But not everyone on the panel agreed. Conservative co-host Alyssa Farah Griffin, whose own sister is a recovering addict with more than a decade of sobriety, strongly defended Martin Sheen's actions. She stressed that sometimes the most loving thing a parent can do is to use tough love and make the hard choices, even if it means involving the authorities. Griffin said, "You're a danger to yourself, and the most loving thing a parent can do is get you off the streets and into help." Sarah Haines also supported this point, explaining that enabling an addict can do far more harm than good. She said that when parents constantly cover for their children, they end up contributing to a cycle where the child cannot grow, support themselves, or build a future. Sunny Hostin, however, sided with Behar. She pointed out that the Sheen family had the resources to pay for the best hospitals and treatment programs, meaning Martin could have pursued a different path instead of turning Charlie over to the police. Hostin's argument was that with wealth and influence, there are always alternatives that don't involve jail. This prompted frustration from Whoopi Goldberg, who reminded everyone that Martin and the rest of the Sheen family had already tried everything else before resorting to drastic measures. She insisted that Martin's actions were not about betrayal, but about desperation to save his son's life. Drawing from her own past struggles with addiction, Goldberg explained that addicts are master manipulators and that sometimes the last straw is the only option left. She emphasized that each family's journey with addiction looks different, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. The debate highlights the complicated choices parents face when dealing with addiction. Is it better to protect your child from the law at all costs, or can involving authorities sometimes be the only way to prevent tragedy? Charlie's story has reignited those tough questions, especially as he now shares more about his past through the docuseries, his memoir The Book of Sheen, and new media appearances. These projects revisit not only his battles with drugs and alcohol, but also bizarre and deeply personal memories, from witnessing disturbing moments on the set of Apocalypse Now to regrets about not reaching out to late actor Matthew Perry before his death. Ultimately, the discussion on The View underscored just how emotional and divisive the subject of addiction remains. For some, Martin Sheen's actions were a betrayal of parental trust. For others, they were the most painful but necessary expression of love. And while audiences may never agree on the right choice, one thing is clear: Charlie Sheen's story continues to provoke reflection on family, forgiveness, and the complicated fight against addiction.